Welcome to Max Capital Management Global Investment Community, GIC. What is GIC? Well, let's walk through it to understand it better. Part of our Corporate Social Responsibility, CSR, we found a global investment community on March 15, 2016. To give the community member the right knowledge about investing. Be it whether you are about to invest now or later, get ahead. Start in your investing education. A home filled with experienced investors that share their insights where you hardly find anywhere else. The main perks are inclusive, gaining the time and market-proven investment strategy, property investment life cycle and business investment life cycle. It is learning from the experienced community members in various industries. Learning various proven investment strategies. Learning what is risk management and recovery strategy. Learning why diversification is different industry and market are so important. Access to global projects and businesses on top of it. A great team to support you all the way along. Here are the three main moves how MCM GIC can help you. Education, seminars and workshops has what the late Kofi Annan said. Knowledge is power. Seminars are one of the best ways to get proper insights from experts in the investing world. Seminars provide you access to these experts so you can get a shortcut on what to learn and what to be aware of. MCM GIC holds almost 150 seminars globally every year, exclusive to GIC members. These include workshops, networking and site visits to connect with other members and project owners. By being a part of GIC community, members get a chance to understand the industry from the inside out and make wise decisions. Project management. Since 2012, Max Capital Management has always been providing project management consultancy to GIC members in the community with clarity. Members can easily do their project from a transparent perspective, which is reassuring. These include investment vehicle, legal structures, tax and other aspects related to risk. On another hand, caters to wide-ranging project due diligence performance from sourcing, management, existing. Sharing ecosystem to help GIC members with their investing journey. As they learn, MCM GIC has sharing economy to help maximum usage of resources. Max Capital Management has realized that there are inefficiencies in the market and sometimes things can get unstable. Individuals may not be able to access to the right resources and resources may not be efficiently used. This is where the ecosystem comes in. Partners get connected with resources and members get maximum value being in the system. It always feels homely and safe to be part of the community because sometimes there are always hidden stories that people talk about. This factor can affect and even prevent people from making the decision they want mainly because they may not align with the investing profile and what they really are looking for. To help you more, you may also learn inside experience from investors who love to get their hand on being part of. The MCM GIC can give you access to such insights. Join the community today. Our help desk ready to serve you. If you are looking to join a knowledge-driven investment community, to learn solid investment knowledge with other like-minded investors, property investment life cycle, business investment life cycle, market industry outlook, insightful business innovation, global investment strategies, tax and legal related matters. Now you can access all this investment knowledge through our global investment seminars. Do like our Facebook page to find out more about our seminars. Our help desk ready to serve you.
before we start, just an disclaimer again that today the topic itself, we are not actually giving you any investment advice, but actually this is something that I share to you because we see that a lot of investors out there in the market, this is what they think about this topic, economies of scales. So we can actually see from two different perspectives. One is from the entrepreneurs, but also we can actually see this topic from the investor point of view. So before we start, just talk. Hey, how come got hand clap sound? Oh, thank you, thank you. All right, so before we start, we would like to talk about this concept 3S. From since the establishment of MCM until now, our founders always talk about these 3S, which is a sustainability, the scalability, and also the social impact to the market. And this is our philosophy when we actually look at some projects. We actually help the entrepreneurs to actually grow their business. But at the same time, we also have lots of investors when they invest in something. Normally, we actually have some guidance to guide us towards the direction that we want. So for example, like some of them don't have any philosophy in the investment, so they will tends to have missed out their direction, loss of their direction. Then up to the certain point, then they will start to asking themselves why I like to invest in this kind of a project or this kind of investment. So the entrepreneur itself, they also will have the direction why they want to actually start out their business. So they will start with why. So from an MCM point of view, actually we'll start with why. There's three things that we always talk about. First is sustainability. So whether this company is sustainable or not, or is already a sunset business. So this is the first thing. Second thing is scalability. Whether today we invest or we involved in certain projects. So this project, whether they can scale or not, and whether they can grow to another level with their current resources. So that's called scalability. And of course, the last thing, which is the most important part that we believe is a social impact. Whether you are actually giving positive vibes to the market or the society, or actually you are doing something which actually does harm more than good to the society. So that's something we also ponder about when we actually start to actually involve in something like this. So this is a 3S concept. Of course, there's a lot of other points in the sustainability and also how to actually judge a company, whether it's a scalability. Later, I will talk about this second point. But also the social impact itself is equally important. Some people think that social impact is just to talk about the responsibility of a corporate, but no, it's actually more than that. It's more than what we want to offer to the market. But at the same time, it will actually benefit to ourselves as well. Okay, so all these three parts will be actually stated in this book, which is a very good book. I encourage all of you to actually buy this book so that you can read through what is a 3S, what is a business investment life cycle, what is a property investment life cycle, what is happening right there, out there in the market that actually can be benefiting us because of these strategies that we are talking about. So we call it as all you need to know about the investment, be it in the real estate or be it in the business, right? Okay, so let us start the topic today. Our topic is economies of scale. In a short term, so that everyone can understand that what is EOS, it is referring to the cost advantage, which that helps you to actually increase your company's scale of production and become more efficient, resulting in a decrease of cost per unit. So this is an overall very basic idea of economy of scale. But when I start to actually study this topic, I find out there's a lot of interesting thing when it comes to the EOS, the economies of scale, because most of the time when we look at it, we are actually thinking of we are sharing the resources among each and other department, or maybe we are using the same technology amongst all other departments. Then we call it as an economic scale. But when you start to delve into this topic, you'll find a lot of very different, interesting topic, which later I will actually review more on that. So this is a very good graph, but later I will actually use this graph to talk about a lot of concept about the EOS, the economies of scale. So the small firm that actually start up, normally they have a higher average of cost. That's why during the startup, the company actually have to sustain in order to survive at the higher average cost environment. And when this company, they starts to grow, they will have more and more resources to help them to grow. And with this, actually, they will increase the output, leads to a lower average cost. So you'll see that most of the company, if let's say they go past that valley, which is most startup, they have to face this challenge. If they go past that, most likely they will survive. Then they will have to actually start to scale to some other different countries, different geographical area with the current resources they have. So these are basically the what I call the graph that we are looking at. So please remember this graph. Later we will actually use this graph to explain a few very interesting phenomenon. Okay, so this is also one of the example that most of the people may actually think or might not think of it. Last time, during the old days, when we want to actually transport something through the sea route, maybe you have a very small boat like sampan. Then what you can do is actually maybe you can actually carry a few boxes of a thing. But nowadays the container systems, or we call it as a containerization. So it becomes so advanced that actually with just a short, small ship itself, you can actually carry a lot of things on it, because it's actually is EOS of the spaces. Because one ship, you can actually use the facility, you can use the workers on the ship, you can use the same space to actually achieve a higher loading of the ship itself, for you to actually solve your logistic issue. So this is one of example, but also the very significant evolution of the grocery industry. You see that last time, old days, like 40 years ago, a lot of us actually buy something from the grocery shop. So it's one very small shop, and there's not much that you can do with a shop, because there's not much thing that is selling there. So even you want to compare the price itself, there's not much for you to compare, because the products there is so limited. So what normally our parents, what we do is we go from shop to shop actually to do the comparison. So it is a lot of a waste of time. And also the space itself cannot allow you to actually put a lot of thing there. So you see that the modern days, when the hypermarket come in, then the price will reduce significantly, because first of all, the space itself are fully utilized, and it's more comfortable for you to actually do the shopping over there in the hypermarket. But also at the same time, this hypermarket, when they actually get the suppliers to supply their products, they normally will purchase in the higher scale, the bulk purchase. So the price of the company itself will reduce tremendously. So when it compares to the independent grocer, so that has an advantage of economy of scale. And you'll see the market cap of a Walmart during that time, the world richest person, the world richest family is from Sam Walton, which is from Walmart. And currently, I just checked the recent price of a market cap is 392 billion. It's still a very huge market cap, and they are the old time player in this grocery industry. But during 2000, after 2000, there's another company coming out, which is Amazon. I believe every one of us know. So Amazon also doing the same thing. They actually have a bulk purchase. So you see that they should enjoy the same advantages compared to the Walmart. But you will notice that actually Amazon, they enjoy the further discount from certain other things. For example, the space issue. Because no matter how efficient you are in a Walmart, you still need the brick and mortar to help you to actually sell the product. And they have a limitation of geographical, because if let's say you want to come to KL to start up with your hypermarket, you need to look for the space. You go to Penang, you have to start up with a space. So the cost itself to build the warehouse or to build the hypermarket is same everywhere. Of course, the land price, the rental is different, but the business model is the same. But when it goes to the online grocer, actually the whole business concept is different. Yes, they still enjoy the bulk purchase item with a very tremendous low price, but at the same time, they actually have the advantage in the selling the products from the fulfillment center. Then they send to the different part of Malaysia, so for example. That's why it makes Amazon can grow faster within a short period, but grow faster. And the market cap right now is 1.85 trillion. It's almost 3 to 4 times of Walmart. Okay, same applies to a lot of a technology company. With a technology, you can actually enjoy the EOS further. And this one is for the simple example. But when we look into a lot of the different type of a business, you'll see that it become more and more complex, because when we say that economies of scale, most likely people will think of when you buy the product in a bigger scale, then is EOS, is an economy of scale. But we put it into a same consideration that more and more people will goes to buy from you. You are enjoying the bonus of the clients, 人口红利, 顾客红利. So that's a point that people will talk about. But if you look at it properly, there is some business model actually even doing a lot bigger than that. For example, they only target the fitness group of people to sell them the fitness series of a product. So you have a fitness demographic. Then when we actually talk about the gardening, then you have another group of people which is very interested in gardening, interested in reading, interested in gaming, interested in cooking. So when you focus on this group of people alone, the company itself can already be a very huge company. But there is another group of type of a company which do the thing differently. In the company itself, they have a full range of a product just to target that particular group of people. Like IKEA, you'll see that they have a gardening division, they have a kitchen division for the cooking. They also have some of product is just targeting for those who likes to read, like the library. So this kind of a company, they can actually scale even faster because of a different segment alone can already scale by itself. So it's a scaling within a scalable entity, we call it as. And it same goes to the Lazada. You notice that Lazada, when we talk about the product, is a marketplace. But when we talk about the product of a fitness, then there's a huge products range for the fitness. When we talk about the gaming, you have a gaming chair, you have a gaming equipment, you have a gaming table, you have a gaming, even they are selling the games itself online. So that is what the Lazada can do. So the scalability is really, really high. And there's another different way of looking into this model is a Udemy or maybe Teachable. There's a lot of online e-learning platform that when people, they are so interested in gardening knowledge, they will go to this Udemy. They will actually start to search for the topic itself, like literature. That one is for reading, or maybe gaming, or maybe cooking. So that's a different topic. So this group, this type of a company like Udemy, they will actually start to build their community in different sector, like the fitness sector, like the gardening sector, like the reading sector, like the gaming sector. That's a more complicated type of a model of EOS. Yeah, and next we're going even further up to use the technology to look at the whole industry. So when we are talking about the bulk purchase, like the human, like the labor, you can actually use the same label to do the more different thing. So that is a lower end of EOS. But when you up our game into the technology, into the AI, that it will make the thing become more interesting. Like Google, they enjoy the most out of EOS in this amongst all of us. That's why you see the market cap is tremendous. We have Apple, the highest market cap valuation in the company in the history of the world. They hit the 1 trillion a few years back. And IBM, like Facebook, like Microsoft, like Amazon. So you notice the same thing. They actually grow from nothing but they use their advantage in the EOS to actually start to build their business model until the level they have now. And you notice that they already have enjoy the advantages of EOS in purchasing, like the Amazon. Last time they can have a bulk purchase, so they can reduce the price. But what is next? Then they actually implement this concept into their AWS, which is a web server. So later I'll talk about how they do it. And also Microsoft, the same thing. They actually start to apply the EOS in the technology level. But now, what is the reason? The most advanced technology they are actually focusing on is the AI. So you know that there is one we call as a partnership on AI. So this group of people, they are actually the most advanced company that apply the AI in the market. So in order for them to actually make this become a sustainable business model, they have to group together in order to achieve the EOS in the AI. For example, like if let's say one company, they start to do this AI by they themselves alone, they cannot actually first share the resources which may actually help each other. So they have the mutual benefits with each other. But you do it alone, you cannot enjoy the EOS. Same thing happens to the talents itself. So the talent pool in US is one of most advanced talent pool that people talk about. But when it goes out of the US, so you can't enjoy that kind of advantage at all. So the AI itself is one of the latest trend in the EOS, not EOI. How the world's most valuable company by a wide margin benefited from the economies of scale. Of course, their base is one of their largest EOS benefit that they get from. Because do you know that Apple, every quarter, they are selling more than 10 million sets of their mobile phone, the smartphone. So this is a tremendous. So the first economics of scale is they can actually purchase the components of a mobile phone, like the screen, like the processors, at a big scale at a cheaper price. So they can actually reduce their pricing from there. But do you know that actually they also enjoy EOS because of their app store? Because on the app store is an ecosystem. A lot of our developer, they will definitely develop something, actually they will put there. So the more variety will attract the more people who will actually join into a single store. So you will enjoy another scaling to scale up in the next level. Okay, that's how the Apple actually scale up their business. And Amazon, just now remember that we are talking about the AWS, the web server online. So actually, how they actually benefits on this is because every server that they use, they purchase. They are not purchasing off the shelf complete set of a server. They actually buy with a minimum spec with unnecessary components all removed. Then they will move to their server room, server center. Then they will actually do the assemble by they themselves. So they will have already reduced a lot of unnecessary part from there. So this is what actually Amazon told the people out there that how they can actually afford to maintain such an advanced server system, server center, but at the same time offer quite an affordable price to the people out there. But it's provided the more people use their server, then the more they can enjoy this kind of a benefit. And also, I will talk about another very special case study of the Starbucks. We all know that Starbucks is the world's largest coffee house chain at the moment. And a lot of people think that they actually make a lot of money from the coffee itself. But actually, they enjoy the most of the EOS from the actually unit, the property itself. Now, for example, today there is one coffee shop. They want to open their point at the new shopping mall. Do you know that their rental will be very, very low? Or sometimes they can enjoy free rental because they themselves have a lot of customers or supporters that will actually come to buy a coffee from them. So because of this, they can leverage on the what we call the ripple of effect to actually affect the people, their customer to come to their shop, at the same time visit that store or visit their shopping mall. So this is how they actually leverage it. Okay, so there's of course lots of different type of economy of scale. I will talk about only three today, because most likely 1, 2, 3 is the same. Basically, it's the same. It's referring to the technical. If you have a technology or if you have an equipment that can support certain range of a certain range of production, so when the production increase, then your technical supports, your technical resources will actually support the scalability. So this is the first type of the scalability. Second one is I mentioned just now, so I don't need to actually expand more, is the lower average cost of buying large quantity. So this is done by Amazon and a lot of people who sell the things. Normally the company who sell the things in the large quantity, they will actually enjoy this. Finally, there is also one, we call it a financial scalability. Financial scalability, like for example, imagine that today you are large enough that when you get the loan from the bank sees that your company is cash rich, your company have a very healthy kind of income, cash flow, and also the company has the very large customer base. All this can actually help you to scale up, and the financially, the bank actually allow you to actually get better loan terms, and also the quantity of the amount of finance, and also the risk itself. The bigger the company, actually they can stand a better chance of facing the risk. So you see a lot, most of the time, the small company during the pandemic or during the certain crisis, they will be the first one to actually collapse. But most of the company, I say most, not every company, but those companies who have a bad cash flow, then they still actually face the same issue. But those companies is large enough, they can actually enjoy the risk bearing on this EOS. And the last part is the external, which is uncontrollable, like in certain industry. If let's say you are at the right industry, you are always enjoy the EOS. Okay, and these are 6 benefits of economic of scales. First is reduce the long-term unit cost. Second is increase the profit. The third is you actually make your company, you expand your company faster and larger, and even into the different countries. Okay, but the number 4, 5, 6 is down to the individual level. For example, when we want to actually, we as a consumer, we want to buy something because of the company, they themselves enjoy the EOS. Then as a consumer, we can buy something which is cheaper. All right, like for example, like last time we have the cassette. We can use the cassette to actually play the music. So when the cassette actually introduced into the world, or VCR introduced to the world, because the quantity is so low, so the price of the technology is very, very expensive. So when actually it flood to the market, it become more and more popular. So the price of a unit become cheaper and cheaper. So it's a cycle that the cheaper it is, the more people will use it. The more people they use it, the cheaper it is. So it's actually good response from the market. And the product improvement also, because they enjoy the economies of scale. So the manufacturer will tend to actually improve their quality. So we will actually enjoy the better quality of our products. And down to the staff level, we will see that the bigger company, why they can actually have a better salary, because they actually enjoy the better scalability and better benefits in the company itself. For example, the staff, they can enjoy certain benefit due to, because the company is large enough, then they can afford to actually buy subscribe to certain type of benefits, can benefit every one of the staff. Okay, since I have not much time, I will go through faster on this. So why the developers can always enjoy economies of scale? You'll notice that actually developer will always enjoy in different terms when we talk about the scalability, there is a lot of different type of scalability, but the developer can actually enjoy most of it. Like for example, today we want to build a house, you need to hire someone, the builder, you want to buy the materials, you want to buy that piece of land, because you are solo, you are alone. So when you engage with the builder alone, the builder definitely will be more expensive compared to the developer, because the developer is building in scale. Secondly, is a building material. Unless you are about purchase to build 100 units of houses, if not, you actually get the material become very, very expensive. But the developer, when they get from the supplier, they can actually have a term to actually purchase, maybe not only one project, maybe 3 to 4 projects, so they can actually reduce their price further. And the third one, of course, is when we talk about the land, small piece of land, and if let's say you buy a huge piece of land, they can actually do a lot of things on that piece of land, like for example, lay the infrastructure to do the title conversion. All these actually will enjoy the economies of scale as well. Okay, so like labor, like even the technology, how they build the units, how they build the property itself, the technology itself is one of the advantage. And even the marketing, of course, personal level, we don't need to market. Maybe we actually build it, then we actually use it. We are the owner, so we stay in it. But for the developer, the bigger the scale, actually the marketing is still the same. There's even the scale model, we can use one scale model to represent the whole project already. So that's also part of it. Of course, they have a financial that I mentioned just now. All right, now there's one interesting part I would like to talk to you. So why economies of scale isn't always work? It actually depends on where are you. If let's say you are a startup, most likely you will actually enjoy the economy of scale. For example, if let's say you are at a very early stage, the small firm, yes, they have a higher average of cost, then they have a lot of things for them to implement. They will start to actually implement one by one and grow from there. So sometimes it's easier for them to enjoy this EOS growth compared to the company who is large enough. You will see that the line itself, why the EOS rate is at the black color, but why not that it will forever reduce until it becomes zero? Because there's a loss of cost itself is a fixed cost. You will forever can't eliminate. For example, like Walmart, they have the rental itself, they can't be zero because they have to actually pay for the rental. They have to pay for a certain amount of utility bills, the wages for their staff, so they can't avoid that. So they can improve their efficiency, but they cannot avoid that. But the small company, yes, when the amount is become bigger, then they can start to enjoy this gap, right? Secondly, why some of a company actually, they not only they will stagnant at certain point, but sometimes after certain sweet spot, their cost itself will escalate again, like the green color. It will grow up again. That is because there's a lot of a thing that we always need to do it in balance. We don't overdo it, but we have to do it in balance. And there's a few disadvantage of EOS that actually prove that if let's say you don't handle it well, then your cost will actually not reduce, but actually it will escalate again. Like first is a poor communication. You imagine that the fewer staff can do more things, that's scalability. But if let's say the scalability actually grows beyond what they can do, then they will start to encounter a lot of mismanagement, poor communication, and they can't control whatever, like the purchasing, they can't control anymore because too many things for them to focus in, they can't focus it. And sometimes they will overdo and duplicate what effort they do. So all this actually will happen for especially the big company. So that's why some of entrepreneurs says that last time they work in the huge company, MNC company, they see that there is this problem, that problem, then they want to start up their company so that they can control. That's the reason, because the smaller the company, you can control even better. The big company, they need to use the system to actually control in order for them to control the wastage because of scalability. And of course, weak morale, because too big already, sometimes is the boss cannot actually focus individual. So they feel that they are just like one part of a group of a very huge company. So some of them actually lost their morale. And last is external opposition, that you have to actually not only facing the internally, you also have to actually face the people out there. So the more you actually you have the output, sometimes it will magnify in the market. If let's say you don't handle the small thing properly, it will actually become the avalanche, it become a big problem for the company. Okay, and now from the investor point of view, this is my last slide. So if I'm an investor, so since like the Amazon is one of the company actually enjoy the most of EOS, then I should invest in Amazon. Am I right? So if you invest in the Amazon, it's not because of they actually have the room to grow in the EOS. Just like I say, they're already stagnant for the EOS. Maybe they need to implement some other technology. Like just now, I have gave some hints to you that they are right now actually going towards the AI direction. So AI may be the game changer for them in order for them to grow further. So AI will replace a lot of their labor, a lot of their planning, and they can actually shorten the period for them to actually do some execution of their campaign. So that's the EOS that they may enjoy. But if let's say you talk about the bulk purchase kind of a thing, so those companies already way over we call that efficiency. They already enjoyed those efficiency way back 10 years ago and 15 years ago. So they will no longer have that kind of advantage anymore. So if you are looking into some company you want to invest, so either you are looking at some other area they would like to actually leverage on, or those companies who still start to actually benefit from this EOS. Of course, those EOS is already proven that by the big boys. Now these small company, they are growing. So you are enjoying more profits. The company will enjoy more profits from this part because whatever they save is their profit, because it's translated to their profit. So I repeat, whatever saving that they made will be translated to the profit that they earn. So profit itself is directly related to, of course, the valuation of a company, of this public listed company. So it will direct translate to the market capitalization. That's why we always say that as an investor, we always need to know what is their strength, what is the room for them to grow. And when we talk about the room to grow, the first thing we want to see is whether they can be scaled or not. So of course, I have to repeat again, all this information will be actually stated clearly inside the book that just how we mentioned. So you can purchase the book to actually understand more. So that's what I would like to share to you today. Thank you very much.